we're starting tonight with another fact check on attack ads. Politics. It's our big story tonight. In our political ad fact check last week, we told you how the balance of power in Congress is really up for grabs this November. A lot of focus is on the U.S. House of Representatives, where Republicans hold just a real slim majority. If Democrats flip 4 seats from red to blue, assuming the rest stay the same, they would gain the House majority. Basically, Democrats need a net gain of 4 seats. And one of the more contentious races where Democrats hope to flip a seat is right here at home in Oregon's 5th Congressional District. Here's a look at the area. It starts out near the corner of southeast Portland and stretches all the way down through the eastern half of the Willamette Valley and then across the Cascades to Bend and Sisters. Right now it's represented by freshman incumbent Republican Lori Chavez-DeRemer. But she faces a big challenge from Democrat Janelle Bynum, a former state representative here in Oregon. It's worth noting that Bynum actually defeated Chavez-DeRemer twice, once in 2016, again in 2018, in order to win that Oregon State House seat. The well-respected Cook Report rates this third rematch a toss-up. This time, of course, it's for a seat in Washington, D.C., not in Salem. Another reason Democrats are really pushing for this district is because Joe Biden won the 5th district in Oregon by more than 8 percentage points back in 2020, so they think they've got a shot. And because this race is expected to be so close, the ads, of course, getting nasty with less than a month to go. So tonight we'll look at an ad attacking Janelle Bynum, and tomorrow we'll do the same for an ad against Lori Chavez-DeRemer. Ready? Good. Let's get started. The ad starts with a video which looks like it's from Portland. Not every street looks like this, but there are plenty that do.
You can't walk down the street without stepping over someone. This push to decriminalize from politicians like Janelle Bynum, that's why we're here. She pushed to decriminalize drugs like fentanyl.
Okay, some context here, please. Bynum did indeed vote for Measure 110, which decriminalized small amounts of hard drugs in Oregon. The Washington Examiner, cited in that ad, ran this headline last May. Democrats put faith in House candidate Bynum, but past support for decriminalizing fentanyl threatens chances. In their story, they linked to this Facebook post back in 2020 where Bynum says she is voting yes on Measure 110. She also writes, "I think we can get better legislation through the legislature. This was a very hard toss-up." Now, a lot of other people voted for it as well, more than 1.3 million Oregonians. That same article points out Measure 110 passed with 58% of the vote, and Multnomah County voted in favor of it at a rate of 3-1. It's worth noting that Bynum also voted for House Bill 4002, which recriminalized drugs, including fentanyl. Okay, back to the ad.
Worse than decriminalizing drugs, Janelle Bynum wrote the plan to release thousands of criminals from prison early.
You know, it's hard enough, put hardened criminals back on the street.
All right, what about this one? Well, the ad cites the Oregonian newspaper from June 15, 2020. I found that article. Sure enough, Bynum was one of 4 lawmakers who lobbied Governor Kate Brown to let prisoners out early. Now, it's worth remembering this was during COVID. Bynum argued that the prisons were overly congested and could be a death sentence for people with severe medical problems, and that the appropriate humanitarian response would be to release them as soon as possible. According to the Oregon Justice Commission, by the way, while lawmakers wanted nearly 2,000 set free, Governor Brown did indeed release 963 adults in custody from July of 2020 through October of 2021. And of those, 34%, so that's 1 in 3, were arrested for a new crime within 2 years. And 20%, that's 1 in 5, were convicted of a new crime in 2 years. And 12% went all the way back to prison. Okay, so that claim is accurate. Bynum was indeed one of 4 lawmakers who pushed to get inmates released, although lots of other outside groups were calling for that as well.
This is Bynum putting her agenda ahead of our safety. We don't need Janelle Bynum in Washington.
Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
And that last part, well, that's just opinion, and apparently a chance to remind viewers that Portland still has a homeless problem. Yeah, we know. So what's going through your mind? Anything surprise you there? Are there any other ads in this race that you would like us to fact check? If so, let me know where you saw it and kind of the time that you saw it. Email us. The address is thestory@kgw.com, or you can always call and leave a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090. And while we're on the topic, Janelle Bynum is firing back at Republicans tonight, accusing the campaign of Lori Chavez-DeRemer of planting a false story on Fox News nationally to distract voters. This goes back to something which happened allegedly during Bynum's campaign for the state legislature in 2022. The Capitol Chronicle reports the campaign manager for a rival of Bynum in the 2024 May primary filed a complaint based on information that she deemed credible that came from a, quote, informant. The stories involve alleged sexual assault and harassment by a 22-year-old man who was working for a Democratic group helping members get elected to the state legislature. The complaint was filed over the summer, but the national Fox News website ran a big story on it this past weekend. The headline shouts, "Willful cover-up, Democrat in key House race hit with ethics complaint that could derail campaign." Okay, so that's the allegation. Now, we looked into it and we found pretty much nothing there. First, it was a complaint to the legislature's equity office, not the ethics office. Second, an email from the director of that office that I reviewed clearly states that Bynum is not under investigation for the alleged incident. Third, I've also talked with Oregon State Police. They are investigating the allegation, but confirmed that Bynum is not the focus of that complaint. Today, the candidate said it's all about politics.
I think that this is also coming from Lori Chavez-DeRemer's campaign, where it's politically motivated. It's one of those things where it's a fake.
Well, we asked the DeRemer campaign about it. Here's what they had to say. A Democrat filed a complaint alleging Janelle Bynum failed to fulfill her legal duties as a mandatory reporter. Janelle Bynum then blamed others for her failures. Janelle Bynum needs to grow up and be accountable instead of pointing fingers. So there's that. Bynum says she did hear about something back then, but insists she did the right thing.
As a mom, I'm always really concerned when my kids or any young people are facing issues at work. And for me, in the campaign, I reported the information that I found, and I think it's really important for there to be accountability. So the employer is accountable for making sure that they handle issues.
Now, that employer she's referring to is the group called Future PAC. They're the ones who employed the 22-year-old to help Democratic candidates. So I got to say, unless more is released that reveals something that we don't know now, it does not appear the Bynum campaign will be derailed.